Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. We are officially back.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul.
They're gonna run out of cheeseheads soon.
The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now. About now. About now. About now.
What is poppin', everyone? It's your man, Cloudboy Bales, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly, where today's topic, well, you guessed it, I'm wearing my Bucks gear, and you know what today is. It is the first, well, I'd say opening day for the Milwaukee Bucks. But yet again, I mean, you know what, I'm looking forward to how they do this season. You know, there are a lot of question marks really going into this season and how I think they're going to fare out. But honestly, anything could really happen this season. I feel like we don't even know what's going to happen this season. And if like it or not, you know, this could be an absolute fail. This could be an absolute growth. I don't know what to say. But this season is starting to feel like 2021 season all over again. Going into this season with a lot of unknowns, a lot of underrated free agency signings, a lot of depth. And the only difference is we have a new coach, and this new coach could either be really fantastic and the perfect hire that we need, or this could be an absolute total bluff. The thing is, after this season ended, you know, losing to the Miami Heat, the 8th seeded Miami Heat. Now let's be real. I think Miami should have never won the 8th. That Miami team was not an 8th seed. They fell to that spot, and I think at that point, Giannis's injury just kind of cost it, and then we just kind of completely lost control of this series, and Jimmy Butler was just too outstanding. But then you look at it, and then realistically, Miami somehow ended up making the finals anyway that year. So, you know what? I don't feel as bad, but it's the same thing happening again. As we remember from 2020, we struggled against the Miami Heat. We couldn't do anything against the Miami Heat. We lost in 5 games. Miami ended up going on to the finals where they absolutely could not do anything against the Lakers, and the Lakers won the championship that year. Obviously, the very following year, the Bucks knew they needed to make a move, which is why they traded for Jrue Holiday. And obviously, the rest goes on. We won the championship. Obviously, the next 2 years, we were unable to do that. But obviously, this season was a big downfall. The same thing that happened in the 2020 season is we got the 1 seed. Last year, we got the 1 seed, and we lost to Miami Heat once again in 5 games. Now, I feel like a lot of it had to do with Giannis's injury that he suffered, and, you know, that was unfortunate, but a lot of game time decisions and a lot of game management decisions were on the coach. And I even said in my last video that, I mean, I know that was very uncalled for to say, but I said I cannot no longer, if Budenholzer is still our coach, I don't know how we'll ever win anything. And it's the truth. I feel like he was holding this team back, not making changes, not doing anything. I feel like that was the problem. So, of course, they fired him, obviously. It had to happen. I'm kind of glad they waited because, you know, it sucks. I mean, the guy literally lost his brother, literally during that whole series, and then they fired him. And that's what some people are like. You know what? They really are screwed butt over. And some people are like, you really are who's gonna replace him? Who are you gonna find someone that's gonna actually replace him? You know, and getting Adrian Griffin, I felt was a very questionable move, but I guess it was the only move that made sense. 2, Giannis is the one that requested it happen. So, I guess if Giannis likes him, that's what I said from the video when I made it. I said, you know what? I respect Giannis. I'll listen to him. I think he is right, and maybe he is the guy. Now, all offseason, we heard Giannis saying stuff that he wants lots of money. He's like, now the NBA greed is starting to take over Giannis now. And yet again, this league has been known to be more of a players' league. The players pretty much own the NBA. Adam Silver, all about the players, not really. The coaching has just not been a thing. Literally, Phoenix's coach is one of the best coaches in the NBA, and he got fired because literally that's how it is. This is a players' league. Coaches really don't seem to matter. So pretty much, players are going to join forces no matter what and create these super teams. Now, going back to this pattern, Bucks got the 1 seed. They lost to the Miami Heat in 5 games. They traded for another point guard who was a big upgrade, and they won the championship. Now, they are repeating this cycle. The big thing, obviously, that happened this offseason, and just in recency, was that the Bucks traded for Damian Lillard. It was the biggest move. I was absolutely stunned. I nearly passed out when I saw the news. I knew, obviously, there was a sacrifice that the team had to make in order for this to happen. And unfortunately, that sacrifice was Jrue Holiday. As much as I was saying, I would have rather said maybe Chris Middleton moved on. But the thing was, Middleton was more loyal. He's been known with this organization. And, I guess he just signed the deal, so why would you trade him? I was going to say, I feel like Grayson Allen had to go. I feel like he was kind of a liability, and it was the smart move to do to get rid of him. And I feel like he could be a better fit for the Phoenix Suns. I feel like he really would be. And Jrue Holiday, we traded him into Portland very shortly after. Obviously, traded him to the Boston Celtics, where I am absolutely heartbroken that now he's a Celtic and we had to play against him. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fantastic. Great pickup for the Boston Celtics. Come on. They got rid of Marcus Smart and they got another point guard that can play defense. Fantastic for them. Obviously, Boston is... I'll get, obviously, to the competitors later. But Damian Lillard, I am so excited to see him and Giannis matched up. The only thing that you're losing is the defensive aspect. We all know that Jrue Holiday's defense is fantastic. Damian Lillard, I could not say plays the greatest defense. I think he's obviously known to be an offensive player. I don't know really what else to say, but when I watch the preseason games, I'm not going to say Lillard played out of his mind yet. I think he's just starting to get on the ropes. And that was the same thing that happened to Jrue Holiday when he first got traded. Holiday started really slow and then started getting in the hang of it later on. So I'm not going to be saying, this is a bad thing, But literally, this is Kareem and Oscar. This is a Kareem and Oscar. This is literally Giannis and Dame is literally the new Kareem and Oscar. And then Damian Lillard, I've seen him get double teamed in these games, like these preseason games, and next thing you know, he passes to Giannis, who's in single coverage, and Giannis just completely demolishes the defender. This duo is going to be unstoppable. I can't imagine it. I really can't imagine it. So, looking at this Bucks team, right now the starting lineup looks like it's going to be Damian Lillard at the point guard position. The shooting guard position was a very tough opening, but right now it looks like it's going to be newly acquired Malik Beasley, who I think could actually be a real steal for us. Chris Middleton is back and healthy. And another thing that's crazy about it is don't forget about Chris Middleton. Everyone's forgetting about Chris Middleton. If he's back to his Obviously he missed basically almost a full year because of the injury he sustained in the playoffs the year before. But once we get a healthy Middleton back, he's going to be open a lot and he can make a lot of shots. So that's another thing. Giannis, of course, and Brook Lopez. That's your starting five. Your bench is going to consist of a lot of depth. First off, you got Sixth Man of the Year candidate Bobby Portis. Realistically, should have won it, but is what it is. You got Jay Crowder, who you re-signed to a one-year deal. Giving him another chance is a big deal. Bud never played him, and I'm glad they're giving him another chance because I think he could be a great fit for the team. We'll just see where they fit him in. Pat Connaughton. Of course, Pat Connaughton is a very skilled guy coming off the bench, can make the shots, can play the defense. I mean, you can't get rid of a guy that is your glue guy coming off the bench. That's Pat Connaughton. They also signed Cameron Payne, a backup point guard. Last played for the Phoenix Suns, averaging 10 points a game the last 2 seasons. Real great pickup to be a backup point guard. I mean, very exciting. Those are pretty much the core 9 people I feel like will get most of the playing time this season. Also, if there is a person that I really want to see take the next step this season, that's Marjon Beauchamp. I think he is going to definitely fill that 10th spot off the bench. I feel like he's going to really step his game up. I saw a pickup game, where he scored like 83 points or something. And I can't wait to see what he does. I know he's going to be a great player. I think we're just waiting to see it. And I think even Damian Lillard gave him a shout. They're like, this guy's going to be a baller. I think you just got to give him a year or two to really step up. I feel like that's why last year he was more of like a guy that was going to stay in G League, develop more. I feel like that was a smart move despite with everyone who they had on the team. Other players that are likely going to maybe make some impacts this season. Well, we got Giannis's brother, Thanasis. He's still with the team. Also, they brought back Robin Lopez. Obviously that's a great move because I feel like losing Robin was kind of a big deal. I'm glad they brought him back. I really am. It's really great to see him back on the Bucks. And then also some of the other players that might make an impact. The 2 rookies, Andre Jackson and Chris Livingston. Now, I think they're going to mainly be in the herd for the most of the season. But you know what? They could definitely make an appearance if things happen. AJ Green, a lot of people forgot about him last season. AJ Green, a guy that can really shoot well. I feel like he could definitely make the team because I saw a lot of potential from him last season from coming in games and actually shooting really well. So I really want to see maybe him take another step as well. And other players that we also have that are signed to 2-way contracts. Lindell Wigington, of course, is still with the team. Ty Washington, first-round draft pick from the Rockets last year. Rockets never gave him a chance, and we got him, so we're giving him a chance. And then also Marcus Bolden, which I think I remember him from Duke. He's just a guy that is a center, is not really much of a big-time player. But this is a team that I feel this is a top team in the league. I think it's us and the Celtics are the top 2 teams in the league this season. The only thing that we have that the Celtics don't have is depth. Pretty much the Celtics starting 5 being Holiday, White, Brown, Porzingis, and Tatum. And then Horford is the only guy coming off the bench. Pretty much the Celtics are, they don't really have much bench. But we do. We have a ton of people coming off the bench. So I feel like this team is going to start a little slow, but they're going to get slowly back into things. And I say they're going to be... I think they're going to be the 3 seed. I say Boston finishes the 1 seed. I think a surprise team sneaks in for the number 2. I'll say that's Cleveland this year. And then we get the 3 seed. I feel like a lot of things could definitely happen this season. But you never know. The Bucks play the 76ers tonight. It should be a great matchup. Obviously, Joel Embiid was the MVP last year. And obviously, he's looking for another great season. But Philly's dealing with all sorts of drama because James Harden's being an absolute crybaby again and wants out of Philly. He's trying to play with Philly, and now Philly doesn't even want him there. So this whole thing is just like a high school relationship to me. I feel like Philly, this is going to be a lot of distractions for the 76ers this season. And that could definitely be the start of a rebuild for Philly. I definitely think that might be the case. I know they just got that one coach, but there could be a real problem brewing in Philly. Other teams that might be considered as opponents, well, of course the Miami Heat. But I guarantee what's going to happen again is they're going to be like, oh, not really trying at all. Then they're going to slowly get back into it, get a low seed, and then Jimmy Butler's going to go off again. I don't want to have to face the Heat in the first round ever again. I just don't want to have that happen. But you know what? Anything could happen. I feel like there's a lot of teams that could really step up to the occasion and be surprise teams. A lot of big moves this offseason, especially the Bradley Beal move for the Suns. I think there's a lot of things that could possibly happen this season. The Suns are a big team to watch out for. The Nuggets obviously won the whole thing last year, so obviously watch out for them. The Lakers could definitely have a bounce back season. Watch out for them. There's a lot of teams out there that could definitely be real stunners. But if I think about this Bucks team, I think that this duo between Giannis and Lillard is just going to be something excellent to watch. And that's pretty much all I have to say on that front. Bucks tip off against the 76ers at home, 6:30 tonight. Very excited to see how things turn out. And obviously, we have a full season to see how they do. But a lot's going to happen this offseason. I mean, this season's weird. I mean, first off, they're doing a tournament in the season. That's the first time they've ever done this. The All-Star game is finally going back to East-West format, not this stupid teams thing again. And honestly, I have no idea what else to say. But I'm so excited because being a Bucks fan, I can't wait to see how they do this season. So going back to why I started this video, the Bucks, back in 2020, the Bucks had the 1 seed. They got bounced by the Miami Heat in 5 games. They traded for an upgraded point guard. They won the championship. This season, last year they got the 1 seed. They lost to the Miami Heat in 5 games. They made an upgrade, a huge upgrade at point guard. What's missing? It's possible. Very possible. And of course, to finish off this video, obviously I didn't make a video on this before, but Giannis, he signed the extension. And the same thing happened. I mean, the same thing happened too. I forget that. He signed an extension that offseason too. This offseason, he also signed another extension. 3 years, $186 million. Man's getting paid $62 million a year. Deserves it. I mean, it's Giannis. But when all that stuff happening in that season comes to play now, and seeing it happen again, I'm starting to think it's very possible this could be another championship year. All depends on the intangibles. I feel like anything can happen. New coach, new point guard. It's going to take maybe a little bit of time to get everything clicking, but nothing really doubts me. And I feel like we all know this is going to be one heck of a season. So if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts. And as always, man, this will be a fun season. I know that, and I understand that. Enjoy it, Bucks fans. We will see you next time.